Hi everyone, this is another Learn Tarot video. So today we're going to be reading all the cards in reverse. If you haven't already seen my first video, which is how to learn all 78 of the cards in less than 2 hours, I think it was like an hour and a half, then the video for that will be in the description box of this video in case you do want to watch it. Just before I get started as well, I do want to mention that I mainly read in upright on my channel, and as a reader, it's just the way that I feel is the strongest for me personally. Readers are all different. You'll find even on YouTube that there are certain readers that only read upright, and then some, in fact quite a lot of them, also read upright and reversed. It is based on personal preference, and of course the meanings in tarot can really be interpreted in so many different ways. I also want to mention that if you would like to win a free reading with me, a free tarot reading with me, do check out the description box below, since I do a giveaway every single month. Also, I want to mention as well, if you would like to purchase a tarot reading with me, information for that will also be down below. They're done within 24 to 48 hours. And the last thing I want to mention is that my intention bracelets are on Etsy. You can also check out the reviews for them as well. They are there to remove obstacles and challenges from different areas of your life. They are meditated with, they are saged, and they start from just £3 with free international shipping. So if you are interested, there's lots of different bracelets on there, from protecting you from the evil eye. There's also career, wealth, finance, twin flame, love. This one right here is the 2020 energy bracelet. I also have zodiac sign bracelets on there as well, so do check that out if you're interested, and let's get started with this video. So first of all, we're going to start with the major arcanas. Okay, so the first card that we have in reverse is the Fool. The Fool is actually the first card in tarot. I know it's 0, but it is the first card. Now, the Fool in reverse means that it is naive. Now, remember that we always base cards on a question, right? Or a thought, or, you know, whether that's a daily energy or whatever it is. You know, when we pull a card, we pull it with some kind of intent. So whatever the question is, it would obviously relate to that. So I'm going to give you the interpretations and the meanings of these different cards, but it of course does depend on the question being asked, or the thought, or, you know, the reason you've pulled the card. So the Fool is known to be in its reverse state: irresponsible, naive, immature, foolish, and things may dissolve. Alright, so that is the Fool. Now the Magician here, as you can see, this means trickery, cheating, false appearances, dreams without a foundation or a purpose. It also means self-delusion, creative blocks, and a person, you know, or thing that may not be what you expect it to be. So a person could say one thing, do another, or might just have a false mask on, might be a trickster, that kind of an energy. And it may also mean that things that you're trying to do may not manifest. Alright, so we have the Magician. Okay, we also have the High Priestess, so the third, technically the third card, but it is number 2. So the High Priestess in the reverse state means secrets are revealed, emotions come to the surface, things get misplaced, and there can also be misplaced faith. There could be also a teacher, advisor, or a person that's giving you misinformation. There can be miscommunication and no knowledge of a certain situation. So essentially this is like a disconnect, and it's also a disconnect from your intuition or inner knowledge. Okay, now we move on to the Empress. So the Empress here shows that there can be chaos, you know, domestic bliss can go to chaos, there can be unhappiness in the home or the family. You might feel like you don't have enough, you know, not enough money, not enough affection, support. It can also be, you know, a controlling energy, you know, maybe a negative mother figure. This can also represent fertility issues, a lack of awareness, lack of experience, a lack of growth in different areas of your life, and creative blocks. I think I already mentioned that, but, you know, also a need for personal validation is really coming through with the Empress as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next card. We have here the Emperor. A little bit difficult within so many cards. In fact, if I do it like this, it's just easier. If I put the deck actually on the side and take one card at a time, it might be easier. So we have the Emperor. In the reverse, the Emperor is, stubborn, controlling, rather than being supportive, overruling, with ideas. So if this is also a parental or authoritative figure, it can mean disorganization, disorder, in the structure as well, and to do with career. And it's also about a lack of action mainly. Okay, then we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is about misinformation, restrictive attitude, mistrust, lack of commitment, knowledge, so lack of knowledge as well, blocks, no power, or at least a lack of power as well, and instability. Then we have the Lovers. So this card here in the reverse state is about a very troublesome situation, in your goals or your relationships, in your personal growth. It can also be blockages in love, temptation, cheating, betrayal, that kind of a thing as an example. It can also be no movement, plans can go haywire. So, it's not the greatest card in the reverse state, I will admit that. Then we have the Chariot. I'm just going to turn the whole deck upside down actually. Just makes it a bit easier. There we go. Chariot. So this represents in its reverse state arrogance, a block in travel, no movement. Again, plans going haywire. Ego getting in the way, not being able to progress forward, not understanding why things aren't going in the direction that you want them to go into. This is really, again, about instability and, just not being able to progress. So that's what's coming through here. And then we have the Justice card. So the Justice card here shows injustice, manipulated truth, losing a case, feeling very off balance, a lack of faith, choosing new business partners, and in general, just feeling very off. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the Hermit. So the Hermit means isolation, sad, feeling lonely, feeling out of place, especially in its reverse state, rejection, rash decisions, and in general, just not feeling up to things. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune here signifies change, feeling burnt out, a wrong direction, accepting situations, closing of cycles, and accepting destiny as it is, and also what's to come. Then we have Strength. So this shows up as a very genuine risk, an enemy within yourself. Lack of strength, it also means not panicking. We then have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is about a block in spirituality or yourself. It can also be that your fantasy can blind you. It's also as a warning, to be careful and keep your energy to yourself. Then we have the Death card. So the Death card is about letting go. It's about, really holding on to outdated things and that not being good for you. And so, the Death card is also about unexpected events and preparing yourself. It's also about a block in transformations. It's about you really blocking yourself and continuing something just for the sake of it. Then we have Temperance. So Temperance, this is really about, you needing to be precise. It's also about, a tidal wave of problems that can come in, imbalance. It's also about impatience, poor money management, sensitive issues that can really come to the surface, certain memories and feelings. So it's really about needing to heal and grow and focus on yourself. Then we have the Devil. The Devil is about enslavement, it's about resistance, it's also about an awareness of things that are toxic and trapping you and for you to try and understand those and acknowledging those things. Then we have the Tower. The Tower is about blame and disaster. When it's in its reverse state, it still means that, it still means it's disaster, but it's things that can also be avoided. These disasters can be avoided. It's also about forgiving and surrendering to the situation. We have the Star. The Star here is about creative blocks. It's about being unable to let go and heal, not fulfilling your dreams, not identifying real life, problems, and having these expectations that perhaps really can't manifest because of the state of mind that you're in. Then we have the moon. So the moon in its reverse means, the dangers of doing nothing. It's also showcasing that you need to release your fear. There can be inner confusion. So this is really about, trying to get yourself together and trying to get your emotional self or your emotions more balanced. Again, it really does depend on the question that's being asked and, of course, the energy. We have the sun. So the sun is about a delay. It's a little too carefree. So it's essentially a warning, not to be too carefree. It's about also not worrying about your health or your work, your love life, perhaps not putting as much effort in, also not caring too much about children as well. So that's also coming through. It's a little bit of an irresponsible card in its reverse, but it's also, a message about not giving energy to the right things in your life. It's also about negativity and a lack of growth and a lack of positivity as well. Then we have judgment. So judgment in its reverse is about guilt. It's about delayed decisions and conclusions. It's also about soul searching. It's about, opportunities that can be missed and poor decision making as well. Then we have the world. So the world here is about outdated values, missing out on offers, feeling incomplete, painful past issues, also the same routine and pattern that perhaps needs to be broken or changed in some way, shape or form. So that is really what's coming through with, those cards. Now we're going to move on to the minor arcana. So first of all, we're going to start with the wands. So I'm going to start first and foremost with the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is about a creative block. It's also about a lack of passion and commitment. It can also mean a delay in travel and plans in general. Okay, then we have the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands in this state is about wasted talent, imbalance, unreliable people, and misplaced trust. The Three of Wands reversed means a break in communication, frustration, not being able to wait and having really no patience, so zero patience, and also tensions that can arise. Four of Wands in reverse means, attitudes can block you to success. This is also about not fitting in, zero flexibility, and also blocks in commitment, marriage, family, friendships, and also the work environment as well. Okay, then we have the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is about a lack of chaos and, changing that, because we know that in its normal state, upright, it is about chaos and confusion, but this is about, changing. It's about chaos being either, what's the word I'm looking for? Redirecting yourself from chaos or avoiding it altogether. But it's also about a lack of it. It's also, this card also means that you're not to blame in a certain situation and that it's someone else's fault. Okay, Six of Wands in reverse. Six of Wands is about delay. It's delays. It's also about failure. It's about waiting, letting people down, hesitant, wanting to be rescued, wanting people to always come to you. Then we have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands here is about concerns about your work. It's about doubting yourself. It's about stress. It's about you trying to conserve too much of your energy as well. Then we have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is about confusion. It's about delay. It's about a lack of communication, mistrust and miscommunication. We have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is about demands. It's about things draining you, too much pressure, trying to really please others as well. So a lot of overthinking in that sense, but for other people, not necessarily for yourself. We also have the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands reversed means that you need to lighten up, divert your energy, and that things will be okay. This is again a card about change and progress. Page of Wands reversed is about, something or someone especially not being very communicative. This is also about difficulties with self-expression, and really trying to get ideas across, maximizing opportunities. So it's essentially about difficulties in those areas, difficulties maximizing opportunities, gaining opportunities, and really getting your vision across. And also a block in creativity as well. So the Knight of Wands here is really about, it's very insincere, it's very egoistic, it's about protecting yourself and being cautious from this energy. Then we have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about a lack of passion, lack of ideas, lack of drive, being overprotective and very materialistic. Materialistic in a very, very not so great way. Then we have the King of Wands. King of Wands here is about being very uptight, being a free spirit, overbearing, very bitter, no sharing, and a lot of ego. And again, King and Queen can also be to do with a lack of creativity, a lack of vision, just a lack of wanting to manifest certain things that perhaps, are good for you to do. For example, progress in career can be very much so blocked with those two cards. Then we have the Ace of Cups. Now in the reverse, the Ace of Cups here is about, so we're now doing the cups in the minor arcana, water energy as we know it. So Ace of Cups in its reverse is about emotions being suppressed. It's about a lack of understanding. It's also about a lack of understanding in family and love and just people in general, or things that are going on around you. It's also about an uncertainty in regards to your future and a sense of not feeling free. So a lack of freedom. Two of Cups in the reverse is about secrets and betrayal. It's about testing time in relationships, trusting your judgment, and also can be a lack of support as well. Three of Cups in the reverse is about distance, discord, disappointment, health problems, isolation, lack of socializing. Four of Cups in the reverse is about temporary things, feeling stuck, feeling bored, and a card about flat energy. Now we are going to move on to the Five of Cups. So this Five of Cups actually really is about change. We know that in its normal upright situation, it's about grief and sadness, and focusing on the negative things. But when we have it in the reversed state, it is about change. It's about the healing process. It's about feeling hopeful, feeling stronger, being able to move on, focusing on the positives, allowing the light to shine. Then we have the Six of Cups. This Six of Cups here is about nostalgia, sentiments, avoiding present issues, and also clinginess as well. Codependency, too. Then we have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups here is about the dangers of putting a person or place on a pedestal. It's also about a block in dreams. This card is also about being cautious about your dreams and what you're constantly thinking about. This can also be, taking off those rose-tinted glasses, seeing things for what they actually are, because you could be missing certain things that you may not be aware of in regards to a person, place, situation, or thing. So this is about being cautious. It might not be exactly what you expect it to be, so be cautious about it. Then we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. The Eight of Cups in reverse is also, can be a stagnant energy, but it's also about making mature decisions in regards to that. So, if you don't make the decision, it can be a very, very stagnant energy, but it's also showing that you have the potential to make decisions in your favor and to learn from those things. This is also about sometimes, not being able to walk away from certain things that can be not good for you. So this is about making the right decision and following your gut and your intuition. Okay, now we have the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups can be about self-absorption. It can be about feeling very sidelined, feeling like there is a wish pending, something that you want to do, but you just can't quite do it, or it's just not the time yet. And it's also a card about feeling uncomfortable. Then we have the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups here is about, the loosening of family bonds and ties, relations, It can also be being afraid of loss. It can also be a block in happiness and joy, a block in terms of family. So, you know, it's a card where you just feel like there isn't a rainbow. You just don't feel good, you know. There's a block, a very certain block in terms of also emotions and bonds. Then we have the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups here in its reverse is about being unable to express, you know, feelings. It's about temper, tears, sulking, you know, it's mood swings. Very immature energy for sure, but it's also about, you know, missing certain opportunities, not capitalizing on everything that you could have as well. Then we have the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups here is really about, you know, that you can't trust this person, place, or situation. You know, you can't trust them to keep a promise, and also there can be lots of disappointments in love or opportunities. Also a block in terms of opportunity and you not perhaps getting what you want in a situation. Then we have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups here, you know, the Queen specifically, you know, is very, very competitive, especially in its reversed state. Thrives on attention, you know, emotional instability and also jealousy as well. So there's a real imbalance there. Then we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is, you know, about being out of control, being destructive, also feeling extremely vulnerable, just very out of place, imbalanced, and also immature as well. This can also be about, you know, these two can also be about not gaining opportunities as well. Then we are going to start with the Swords. Okay, so we're starting with the Swords with the Ace of Swords. So in its reverse, the Ace of Swords is about feeling held back. It's about a frustration, a delay, communication block, a failure of will. Then we have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords in its reverse is about deception, but also truth, decisiveness, understanding, and also guidance. Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is about release, acceptance, avoidance of pain, and relieving tension. Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords is about isolation, no rest, better to surrender. You know, as a message, it's better to surrender. And also it can be about chaos and not taking enough time for yourself, you know, not sleeping well, not eating right, not putting enough into yourself. Then we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords here is about a resolution of conflict. It's also about a cover-up. It's about the strength of ego. And it's also, again, about change. So it's also about, you know, resolving these things as well. As I mentioned, a resolution of conflict. Six of Swords in its reverse is about missed opportunities. It's about limbo, a threat, but it's also about progress as well. Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords in its reversed is about someone coming clean, confessing things, you know, such as the truth, and also it's about moving forward and progressing on after that. Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is about a setback. It's about lack of communication and direction. It's also about feeling very, very blocked, you know, and unavailable. So even though this card, you know, in its upright state, you know, can very much so still be, you know, kind of negative and not so great, even in its reverse state, you know, yes, it shows a bit of progress, but it's still, you know, it's still showing that kind of, you know, block, but it's also about showing, you know, freedom. So it can show a challenge, you know, that you may have gone through, but then also freeing yourself and tying yourself from that situation. So, okay, there we go with that one. Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's about feeling balanced and also about recovering, you know, from stress, anxiety, sadness, grief, losing someone. It's about recovery. 10 of Swords. This is about things getting better, surviving, pulling yourself together, finally feeling like you can get up, you can do things, you can get out of bed, you can go for your opportunities, or go for opportunities in general. You can progress towards things, and it's just about finally seeing clearly and there being light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so now we move on to the Page of Swords. Page of Swords in its reverse means secret poison. Whew, my gosh. It's also about misinformation, lies, trouble, gossip, you know, manipulation, words meaning not a lot, you know. Then we have the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords here is about someone that says one thing and does another. It's also about no courage. This person really cannot be trusted, and it's also about rivalry, competition, you know, those kinds of things, but not in a nice way. It just doesn't make you feel good. It's that kind of energy. Then we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So the Queen of Swords in reverse is about excuses. It's about, you know, cutting with words. It's, you know, it's very bitter. Very, very bitter, and also very defensive. A lot of defensiveness coming through with the Queen of Swords. Then we have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is about, you know, dangerous opposition. It's about not being careful. It's about playing a game, not being truthful, not being loyal, not being honest, and really not very much sense of direction. In fact, probably zero sense of direction. It's just very immature, in all honesty. Then we have the Pentacles. So now we're onto the earthy part with the Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles here in its reverse is about imbalance of finances, neglect of responsibilities. It's also about rejection, instability, and greed. It's also about a lack of communication and a wish pending. Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles in its reverse is about a partnership that can suffer. It's about financial loss. It's also about the lack of balance, frustration, and it's also about worries. Okay, Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles here is really about, you know, partnerships breaking. It's about not facing the elements of life. It's also about, you know, really losing your job, not feeling like you can really work with other people, and it's also about boredom as well. Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is about a struggle. It's also about lack of confidence. It's about missed opportunities, and it's also about carelessness as well, and holding on to things way more than you perhaps should. Five of Pentacles in the reverse is about poor decisions. It's about reconsidering your priorities. It's about, you know, allowing things to unfold, allowing things to change, not being too tied up in things. Six of Pentacles in its reverse is about imbalance. It's about money that may have been promised to you, but it may not come to you. It's also about not having your needs being met. Seven of Pentacles in its reverse is about, you know, needing to act on things. It's about wasted time and money, and also not thinking for yourself and not taking time also for yourself. And, you know, really reviewing things, or at least trying to analyze things. And also it can be about rushing decisions as well. So we have here the Eight of Pentacles in its reverse. So this is about not working hard enough. It's about no focus, or at least a lack of focus, lack of drive, and also doubting yourself. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles here is about lack of confidence. It's about irresponsibility, debt, being vulnerable. It can also be about disputes as well. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Ten of Pentacles in reverse is about adversity, mismatch in love, disconnection, and also money issues. It can also be to do with family issues, things breaking down, career issues as well, you know, losing finance through it. It can be a really wide array of things, should I say, but it really does depend on your question and your intention when pulling cards. So that is what I would say. Also in terms of, you know, just your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being as well. It can mean a real disconnect. Also in regards to love, it can mean, you know, things going completely opposite to what you would have imagined. For example, no commitment, or a breakdown in marriage, or commitment or engagement, you know. So that's what that is. Then we also have the Page of Pentacles in its reverse. So the Page of Pentacles in its reverse is about mistrust. It's about money stealing. It's about extravagance with some serious irresponsibility. So it really very much so is, you know, not the most mature and best kind of energy to really deal with that in that sense. You know, it's not that great, in all honesty. Then we have here the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles here is, you know, it's about doing little. It's also, you know, about someone being, you know, something or someone being quite dull. It's about a thief as well. It can be, again, about money stealing, but also new contracts and change, and also things going a little bit quicker. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles here in its reverse means money to control others. It can also be about no stability, you know, clashes that you can have, and also insecurity as well, you know, not feeling secure. Finally, the last card that we have is the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles here is, you know, about a very dangerous opponent. It's also about, you know, this feeling of needing to win, you know, ego, greed, debt, you know, getting into debt. It's about this toxic energy, but it's also about someone that's very untrustworthy, or a situation that is untrustworthy. All right, so there we go. There we go. So these are all the tarot cards read in reverse. And of course, I do have a video on my channel on how to read everything, all the other cards in upright. So that was the main video that I did do, but I did another one for reversed meanings. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And do let me know, you know, how you found this video. What's your favorite card in tarot? I would love to know. And also don't forget to check out the description box below for more information on the free reading giveaway if you'd like to enter for that, the private paid readings if you'd like to purchase one of those, or my bracelets, which are on Etsy, intention bracelets. They will be linked down below, along with all the other services and things that I offer. And I hope you all have an absolutely lovely day, night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and take care. Bye.